Hello, English learners. Welcome back to SonicSage English, where learning English is simple, clear, and enjoyable. I'm Julia, your host for today. Thank you so much for joining me for today's lesson. And if you're new here, make sure to subscribe so you won't miss any of our upcoming lessons. Today, I'm so excited to share with you a fun and fascinating English lesson that will help you improve your skills and speak more naturally and confidently. Let's get started. Imagine this. You walk into the interview room. The interviewer looks up and smiles. Your palms feel a little sweaty, your heart beats faster, and you take a deep breath. This is it. Your dream job might depend on what you say next. And then, the interviewer says, "Please, introduce yourself." That's the moment where confidence, tone, and words truly matter. A great first impression can set the tone for the entire interview. Today, we'll learn how to introduce yourself naturally, confidently, and professionally in English. Let's start with your greeting. A warm and polite greeting creates the right energy. Instead of a plain, "Hello," try something that sounds natural and confident. "It's a pleasure to meet you. Thank you for having me today. I'm really happy to be here." These are friendly, professional, and easy to remember. Say them with a calm, steady voice and a gentle smile. That's your first moment to connect. Now, after your greeting comes your short self-introduction. In an interview, you want to answer 3 simple questions. Who are you? What do you do? Why are you here? Here's an example. My name is Anna, and I'm a marketing specialist with 5 years of experience in digital campaigns. I'm very excited about this opportunity because I admire your company's creative approach to brand storytelling. This short paragraph works perfectly because it gives a clear picture of who you are and why you're sitting there. Let's break it down step by step. First, your name. Say it clearly and confidently. "Good morning, my name is Julia Nguyen. Nice to meet you. I'm David Kim." Next, mention your job or background. "I'm a software developer, specializing in mobile applications. I'm a teacher with 6 years of classroom experience. I'm a sales executive focused on international markets." Then, add 1 or 2 lines about your achievements or what you do best. "I've helped several companies increase their online visibility through social media marketing. I've managed projects that improved team communication. I've worked with international clients to deliver customized solutions." Finally, connect your experience to the job you're applying for. "I'm excited to bring my skills to your company because I'm passionate about creating user-friendly technology. I believe my experience in education and communication aligns perfectly with your company's mission." When you put it all together, you'll sound smooth and confident. Here's how it flows. "Good morning. It's a pleasure to meet you. My name is Julia Nguyen. I'm a project manager with 7 years of experience leading software development teams. Over the past few years, I've successfully delivered multiple international projects on time and within budget. I'm really excited about this opportunity because your company's focus on innovation matches my professional goals." That's natural, professional, and memorable. Now, let's explore some useful words and expressions that help you describe yourself effectively. Words for your personality. Dedicated, creative, reliable, motivated, adaptable, detail-oriented, proactive. Words for your skills. Communication, leadership, teamwork, organization, problem-solving, time management, customer service. For example, "I'm a creative marketing analyst who enjoys finding new ways to reach customers. I'm a reliable professional with strong organizational skills. I'm detail-oriented and always focus on quality. Avoid simple textbook answers like I'm hardworking or I'm responsible. Instead, show it through examples. Instead of I'm hardworking, say, I always go the extra mile to make sure my projects succeed. Instead of I'm responsible, say, I take ownership of my work and make sure every detail is completed on time. Now let's look at examples for different backgrounds. If you're a student or recent graduate, good morning, my name is Sarah. I recently graduated with a degree in business administration from the University of Toronto. During my studies, I completed an internship in digital marketing where I learned to manage campaigns and analyze data. I'm excited to apply what I've learned and grow as part of your team. If you're an experienced professional, my name is Alex. I've worked as a customer service specialist for the past 4 years, helping clients solve problems quickly and efficiently. I've learned to communicate clearly and handle challenges with positivity. I'm looking to develop my skills further in a dynamic environment. If you're changing careers, hello, my name is Linda. I've spent several years working in education, but recently I became passionate about technology and started learning data analysis. I'm excited about this position because it allows me to combine my background in communication with my new technical skills. Each version tells a short, simple story. It gives structure and flow your past, your present, and your future. Now let's add transition words to make your introduction sound smoother. Currently, recently, over the past few years, as a result, in addition, for example, I've been working in marketing for 5 years. Recently, I've focused on digital strategy, and as a result, I've developed strong skills in data analysis. Next, let's talk about tone and confidence. When introducing yourself, your tone should sound warm and positive. Keep your posture open, make eye contact, and smile naturally. Even in online interviews, your facial expression and energy can make a huge difference. Don't rush. Speak slowly, clearly, and with purpose. Small pauses between sentences show calmness and control. For example, good morning, it's a pleasure to meet you. My name is Julia Nyan. I'm a communications specialist with experience in corporate training and content development. I'm very interested in this position because I believe my background fits your company's goals. That's calm, professional, and clear. Now it's your turn. Write down your own introduction using this simple structure. 1. Greeting. 2. Your name and current role. 3. Key experience or achievements. 4. Connection to the company or reason for applying. Then, practice saying it out loud. Listen to your pronunciation and rhythm. Repeat until you sound confident, natural, and fluent. Remember, your first impression is more than words. It's your energy, your tone, and the confidence you project. A strong introduction can open doors. It tells the interviewer, I'm ready. I belong here. And in our next lesson, we'll learn how to answer one of the most important questions in any job interview. Tell me about yourself. Now that you know how to make a great first impression and introduce yourself confidently, let's move naturally into one of the most common and important questions in any job interview. Tell me about yourself. This question might sound simple, but it's actually one of the trickiest ones to answer. Most candidates either say too little or talk too much. The key is to give a short, clear, and strategic answer that helps the interviewer understand who you are as a professional and why you're the right person for the job. A powerful way to structure your answer is by using the three-part method: past, present, future. This structure keeps your response organized and easy to follow while allowing you to tell your story naturally. Let's start with the first part, the past. In this section, you share a brief overview of your background and how you got started in your field. You can mention your education, first jobs, or key experiences that led you to where you are now. For example, I started my career in customer service after completing my degree in business management. Working directly with clients helped me develop strong communication and problem-solving skills. This shows where you began and highlights transferable skills. Now, let's move to the second part, the present. Here, you explain what you're doing now, your current responsibilities, and what you've achieved recently. Keep this section focused and relevant to the job you're applying for. For example, currently, I'm working as a sales coordinator at an international company where I manage client relationships and help our team reach monthly sales goals. I've developed strong organizational and leadership skills through coordinating projects with different departments. This gives the interviewer a clear picture of your current professional value. Finally, the third part, the future. Here, you show enthusiasm for what's next and connect your experience to the position you're applying for. For example, now, I'm excited to take on a new challenge where I can continue to grow and contribute to a company that values innovation and teamwork like yours. When you combine all three parts, your answer sounds polished, natural, and complete. Let's listen to the full version. I started my career in customer service after completing my degree in business management. Working directly with clients helped me develop strong communication and problem-solving skills. Currently, I'm working as a sales coordinator at an international company where I manage client relationships and help our team reach monthly sales goals. I've developed strong organizational and leadership skills through coordinating projects with different departments. Now, I'm excited to take on a new challenge where I can continue to grow and contribute to a company that values innovation and teamwork, like yours. That's clear, balanced, and confident, about 45 seconds long, which is the perfect length for this type of answer. Now, let's explore how you can adapt this structure for different industries or job levels. If you're a teacher, for example, you could say, I began my teaching journey right after university, where I specialized in English education. Over the years, I've taught students of all levels and designed creative lesson plans to help them improve their language skills. Currently, I work at a bilingual school where I focus on helping students gain confidence in speaking and writing. In the future, I'd love to contribute to an international program that encourages cultural exchange and modern teaching methods. If you're a software developer, you might say, I started learning programming in college, where I developed a passion for solving technical challenges. After graduating, I worked on several app development projects that improved my coding and teamwork skills. I'm currently working as a junior developer, building and testing applications for small businesses. Moving forward, I'm looking for opportunities to work on larger-scale projects and continue developing my expertise in software engineering. If you're a recent graduate or still early in your career, you can focus more on your studies and motivation. For example, I recently graduated with a degree in finance, where I gained strong analytical and problem-solving skills. During my internship, I worked closely with the accounting team and learned how to prepare reports and analyze data. I'm now looking for an opportunity to apply my knowledge and grow professionally in a company where I can contribute and continue learning. Now, Let's look at some useful vocabulary and expressions that will make your answer sound more professional and natural. To describe your experience, I've gained experience in, I've worked on projects involving, I've developed strong skills in, I specialize in, I'm responsible for. To describe achievements or growth, I successfully managed, I contributed to, I improved, I was promoted to, I achieved. To describe your goals and motivation, I'm passionate about, I'm passionate about, I'm eager to, I'm looking forward to, I hope to continue developing, I'm excited to bring my skills to. Let's see how you can combine them smoothly. I've gained experience in customer support and communication, working directly with clients to solve technical issues. I was promoted to team lead last year after successfully improving our response time by 20%. I'm passionate about creating great customer experiences and excited to bring that same dedication to your company. Notice how it sounds natural and flows like a story, not a list of facts. Another key tip: focus on relevance. Don't include everything you've ever done. Choose experiences that connect to the job you're applying for. The interviewer doesn't want your life story. They want to know what makes you the right fit for their position. You should also pay attention to your tone. Speak clearly, with energy and warmth. Avoid sounding memorized. Even if you prepare your answer, make sure it feels natural, like you're telling your story to a colleague or friend. Let's practice pronunciation and rhythm with a short version. I started my career in marketing 5 years ago. I've worked on campaigns that helped small businesses grow their online presence. Right now, I'm managing a small team, creating strategies for social media and content marketing. I'm excited to continue developing my creative and leadership skills in a forward-thinking company like yours. This version sounds fluent and confident because of its pacing and clear structure. Now, let's look at some common mistakes to avoid. First, don't repeat your entire resume. The interviewer already has that in front of them. Instead, tell your story naturally, highlighting your achievements and motivation. Second, don't start with something unrelated like "I was born in" or "I have 2 brothers." Keep it professional. Third, don't speak for too long. Your answer should be around 45 to 60 seconds, long enough to show your experience, but short enough to keep their attention. Here's one more example for inspiration, this time for a creative professional. I started my career as a graphic design intern, where I learned the fundamentals of visual communication and branding. Over the years, I've worked with clients from various industries, creating designs that tell meaningful stories. I'm currently leading design projects for a marketing agency, focusing on digital ads and brand identity. In the future, I hope to take on more creative leadership roles and help companies build stronger visual identities. That answer feels confident, professional, and inspiring. Now, let's summarize the formula so you can practice it. Step 1. Past: how you started, your background, or education. Step 2. Present: what you're doing now, key responsibilities or achievements. Step 3. Future: what you're looking for next, and how this job fits your goals. Practice saying your answer out loud several times. Record yourself and listen carefully. Check your pronunciation, tone, and fluency. Adjust the pace until it feels natural. When you use this 3-step method, you don't just answer the question, you tell your story. You show the interviewer that you're focused, confident, and ready for the next step in your career. Next, we'll look at another crucial part of the interview: how to talk about your strengths and weaknesses honestly and smartly. in a way that leaves a positive impression. When you finish sharing your background and experience, the interviewer will often move to another classic question, one that makes many candidates nervous. What are your strengths and weaknesses? This question isn't meant to trick you. It's an opportunity to show self-awareness, honesty, and emotional intelligence. Interviewers want to see that you understand yourself, that you can recognize what you're good at, and that you're aware of areas you can still improve. The key is to answer honestly but strategically, highlighting your strengths clearly and turning your weaknesses into growth opportunities. Let's begin with your strengths. When talking about your strengths, you should focus on qualities that are relevant to the job you're applying for. Don't just list random adjectives like hardworking or punctual. Those words are too common and don't make you stand out. Instead, choose one or two strengths and support them with short examples. Start your answer with, "One of my strengths is," or "I'm particularly good at." For example, "One of my strengths is communication. I'm able to explain complex ideas in a simple way, which helps my team work more efficiently. I'm particularly good at staying organized. I always make sure my projects are planned carefully and completed on time. One of my strengths is problem solving. I enjoy analyzing challenges and finding creative solutions." Notice how each sentence includes a strength plus a short explanation. That explanation makes your answer sound real, not memorized. You can also describe your strengths using verbs and examples that show action. For instance, "I'm known for staying calm under pressure. During busy seasons, I manage multiple deadlines without losing focus. I'm strong at teamwork. I believe that good collaboration brings out the best in everyone, and I always support my colleagues. I'm self-motivated. Even without supervision, I take initiative and complete tasks ahead of schedule." These sentences sound confident and authentic. Here are some useful words you can use to describe strengths, depending on your field. Communication skills, leadership, teamwork, adaptability, creativity, organization, problem-solving, reliability, attention to detail, time management, empathy, decision-making, flexibility, initiative, and innovation. When choosing which strength to mention, think about what the company values most. If you're interviewing for a customer service role, emphasize patience and communication. If you're applying for a design job, highlight creativity and attention to detail. If it's a management position, focus on leadership and planning. Now, let's talk about weaknesses, the part that usually makes people uncomfortable. When interviewers ask about your weaknesses, they're not looking for perfection. They want to see if you're honest and self-aware. Everyone has weaknesses, but the smartest candidates show that they can recognize them and work on them. Start your answer with a phrase like, "One area I'm currently improving on is," "I've noticed that I sometimes," is at partly, "I'm working on becoming better at." The key is to choose a weakness that is real but not critical to the job, and then show what you're doing to improve it. For example, "One area I'm currently improving on is public speaking. I used to feel nervous speaking in front of large groups, but I've been taking communication workshops and volunteering to lead meetings. It's helped me feel much more confident." Or, "I sometimes focus too much on small details because I want my work to be perfect. Recently, I've been learning to balance quality with efficiency so that I can meet deadlines more effectively." Another example, "I've realized that I can be too independent at times. I like solving problems on my own, but I've learned that asking for feedback earlier often leads to better results." These examples sound honest and mature. You're not denying your weakness, but you're showing growth and responsibility, exactly what interviewers want to hear. Let's look at some useful vocabulary and expressions for this part. To describe weaknesses, I tend to, I sometimes find it challenging to, I used to struggle with, I'm currently improving on, I've been working to develop. To describe growth and improvement, I've been learning to balance, I'm making an effort to, I've taken steps to improve by, I've seen progress since. Let's put it together. I tend to get a bit nervous when presenting in front of large groups, but I've been working on this by practicing more and joining a public speaking course. It's helped me gain confidence and communicate more effectively. Or another example, I sometimes find it challenging to delegate tasks because I want everything to be done perfectly. However, I've realized that trusting my team and giving clear instructions helps projects run more smoothly. I'm improving by focusing on collaboration instead of control. These answers are natural, reflective, and positive. Now, what should you avoid when answering this question? First, never say that you have no weaknesses. It sounds unrealistic and overconfident. Second, don't choose a weakness that could make you seem unfit for the job. For example, don't say I have trouble meeting deadlines if you're applying for a project management position. Third, don't use a fake weakness disguised as a strength, like I'm a perfectionist or I work too hard. Interviewers hear those answers all the time. They sound rehearsed and insincere. Instead, choose something small but real, something that shows self-awareness and progress. Here's how a complete answer might sound in an interview. One of my strengths is adaptability. I adjust quickly to new situations and challenges. For example, when my previous company switched to a new software system, I learned it quickly and helped train my colleagues. On the other hand, one area I'm currently improving on is time management when handling multiple projects at once. I've started using digital tools to plan my week and prioritize tasks, and it's helped me become much more efficient. This answer is perfect because it balances honesty with professionalism. You show what you're good at and what you're doing to grow. Let's look at another example for a teacher. One of my strengths is communication. I enjoy making complex ideas easy to understand for my students. I also love motivating them to participate in class discussions. One area I'm working on is using technology more effectively in lessons. I've been learning new digital tools to make my classes more interactive and engaging, and for a software developer, one of my strengths is problem solving. I enjoy debugging and finding creative solutions to technical challenges. I also work well in teams and value collaboration. A weakness I'm improving on is presenting my work to non-technical audiences. I've been practicing explaining technical ideas in simpler terms, which has helped me communicate better with clients and managers. When practicing your own answer, write down 2 strengths and 1 weakness. Then, for each one, add 1 real example. That combination makes your answer believable and engaging. Remember to speak with confidence. When describing your weakness, your tone should remain calm and positive, never apologetic or defensive. The goal is to show that you're proactive and eager to grow, not that you're perfect. You can also end your answer with a positive note to show forward thinking. For example, I'm confident that as I continue to improve this skill, I'll be able to contribute even more effectively to the team. This final sentence helps you end on a strong and optimistic tone. By mastering how to talk about your strengths and weaknesses, you show emotional maturity, confidence, and professionalism qualities every interviewer values. Now that you've learned how to highlight your best qualities and turn your weaknesses into opportunities for growth. Let's move on to how you can talk about your achievements. Real examples that prove your value and make you stand out in any interview. After learning how to talk about your strengths and weaknesses confidently, the next natural step in a job interview is to demonstrate your real value, your achievements. This is the part where you don't just tell the interviewer that you are capable, you show them proof through specific examples. When you share your accomplishments effectively, you make a lasting impression and show why you are the right choice for the job. Talking about achievements is not about bragging. It's about presenting facts and results in a professional, concise, and confident way. The best method to do this is by using the STAR technique, which stands for situation, task, action, and result. Let's break down what each part means. Situation. Describe the context or challenge you faced. Task. Explain what your responsibility or goal was. Action. Describe what steps you took to solve the problem. Result. End with what you achieved and how it made a difference. This structure helps your answer sound clear and organized. It also shows your ability to think critically and communicate effectively. Let's start with an example. I successfully led a project that reduced our company's customer response time by 30%. At the time, we were receiving a lot of customer complaints about delays. As the team leader, my task was to find a way to improve our efficiency. I analyzed the workflow, identified unnecessary steps, and introduced a new tracking system. As a result, our response time improved significantly, and customer satisfaction increased. Notice how this example follows the STAR structure naturally. It sets the situation, explains your task, describes your action, and ends with a positive, measurable result. Now, let's explore some useful phrases you can use when describing achievements. To start describing the situation or task, you can use, "At that time, my main responsibility was to." The company was facing a challenge with. Our goal was to. To describe actions you took, you can say, "I took the initiative to." "I developed a plan to view. For Catic. I coordinated with other departments too. I implemented a new strategy that. I worked closely with the team to ensure that. And to describe your results, use action-based phrases like, "As a result, this led to." "We achieved." "The project resulted in." "Our performance improved by." When possible, include numbers or measurable outcomes. This makes your story more powerful and credible. For example, instead of saying "I helped increase sales," say "I helped increase sales by 15% within 6 months. Numbers show impact. Now, let's look at more examples from different fields. If you work in marketing. One of my proudest achievements was launching a digital campaign that reached over 100,000 users in just 2 weeks. At the time, our company wanted to build more online visibility. I designed a social media strategy focused on video storytelling, and we saw a 25% increase in engagement. It was a great success for our team. If you're in customer service, I once handled a case where a client was very dissatisfied with our product. My task was to find a solution and restore their trust. I listened carefully, offered a replacement, and followed up personally to make sure they were satisfied. As a result, the client not only stayed with our company, but also recommended our service to others. If you're a teacher, I successfully led a project that helped my students improve their English speaking skills through weekly discussion groups. When I first started, many students were shy and afraid to speak. I designed fun, interactive activities and gave personalized feedback. After 3 months, over 80% of my students showed visible improvement in fluency and confidence. If you're a software developer, I developed a new internal tool that automated our testing process. Before that, our team had to check each module manually, which took hours. I wrote a script that reduced testing time by 50%, helping us release updates faster and with fewer errors. Each example shows a specific situation, what you did, and what changed because of your effort. Now, let's learn some vocabulary that helps describe achievements effectively. Verbs to describe success: achieved, improved, reduced, increased, launched, developed, implemented, managed, designed, delivered, created, solved, optimized. Exceeded, streamlined. Nouns related to results: growth, success, improvement, performance, efficiency, revenue, productivity, satisfaction, engagement, feedback, outcome. For example, I achieved a 20% increase in productivity. I implemented a new workflow that improved efficiency. I developed a system that reduced costs. I created a new training program that improved team performance. Now, let's combine everything into one example using the STAR method in a natural conversation. Interviewer: can you tell me about a time you achieved something significant at work? Candidate: sure. In my previous job, our customer service department was struggling with long response times. My main task was to identify the issue and improve our communication process. I worked with the IT team to design an automatic ticket tracking system and trained the staff on how to use it effectively. As a result, we reduced our response time from 48 hours to 24 hours, and customer satisfaction scores increased by 20%. This answer is strong because it's simple, specific, and measurable. Here's another example for someone in a creative role. In my last position as a graphic designer, I was responsible for improving brand identity. The challenge was that our visuals looked outdated and inconsistent. I analyzed our existing materials and created a modern design system with clear branding guidelines. I presented it to the marketing team, and we applied it across all campaigns. As a result, our social media engagement grew by 40%, and the brand's visual presence became much stronger. When you describe achievements, your goal is to show the impact of your actions. Always connect what you did to how it benefited the company, team, or customer. Let's practice one more time with a simple template you can customize. Step 1. Start with the situation and your role. At my previous job, I was responsible for managing the marketing budget. Step 2. Describe the task or challenge. We needed to increase sales without raising advertising costs. Step 3. Explain the action you took. I analyzed our data, reallocated funds to digital channels, and tested new ad formats. Step 4. End with the result. As a result, we increased sales by 18% while reducing costs by 10%. That's a clear, complete answer that proves value and competence. Here are some transition words to make your storytelling flow naturally. After that, as a result, later on, in the end, finally, eventually, because of that, and therefore, for example. We faced a big challenge with client retention. I developed a loyalty program, and as a result, our renewal rate increased by 25%. Another key tip: when talking about achievements, keep your tone confident but humble. You're not boasting, you're showing evidence of your contribution. Smile, sound proud but professional, and maintain good rhythm in your speech. Now, Take a few minutes to think about your own achievements. Choose one or two that are relevant to the job you want. Write them down using the STAR method and practice saying them aloud. Listen to how your voice sounds. Aim for a tone that is positive, strong, and natural. When you master this skill, you'll be able to answer any question about accomplishments with clarity and confidence. Each story you tell will show your value not just through words, but through real impact and measurable success. Next, we'll continue to build your confidence by learning how to handle difficult interview questions calmly and professionally, even when you're under pressure. After talking about your achievements confidently, you're ready to face one of the most challenging parts of any job interview, the difficult questions. These are the ones that test not just your English, but also your emotional control, confidence, and quick thinking. Questions like, "Why did you leave your last job?" or "Why should we hire you?" often make candidates nervous, but with the right mindset and strategy, you can handle them calmly and professionally. Let's begin with understanding the goal behind these questions. Interviewers don't ask tough questions to embarrass you. They want to see how you react under pressure. They want to know if you can stay composed, think clearly, and communicate respectfully, all qualities of a great employee. The most important rule is this: never speak negatively about your previous employers, colleagues, or experiences. Even if you had a bad experience, find a positive and professional way to express it. You are always being evaluated not just for what you say, but how you say it. Let's start with the first common question. Why did you leave your last job? Many people answer this question emotionally or defensively, which can create a bad impression. The best way to respond is to stay calm, be brief, and focus on your goals for the future rather than the problems of the past. For example, "I really enjoyed my time at my previous company, but I felt it was the right time to take on a new challenge where I can grow and use my skills in a new environment." Or, "I learned a lot in my last role, but I realized that I wanted to work in a company with more opportunities for development and learning." If you were laid off or your contract ended, you can still keep it positive. "My previous company went through restructuring, and my position was affected. However, it gave me a great opportunity to reevaluate my goals and focus on finding a role that aligns more closely with my long-term career interests." Notice how these answers sound mature and composed. You don't complain, you don't blame anyone, you focus on your growth and professionalism. Now, another difficult question. Why should we hire you? This question gives you a chance to sell yourself confidently, but not arrogantly. The interviewer is testing whether you understand the company's needs and how you can add value. The best formula for answering this question is to connect your skills, experience, and motivation directly to the job. You can start with, "You should hire me because I bring a combination of experience, skills, and passion that match exactly what this role requires." Then follow up with a short example. "For example, in my previous job, I successfully managed a project that improved our team's performance by 20%. I believe I can bring that same level of focus and energy here to help your company achieve similar results." Here's another version. Ex-telefic. "I believe I'm a great fit for this position because I have a strong background in customer service, excellent communication skills, and a real passion for helping clients. I'm confident that I can contribute to building great customer relationships and supporting your company's goals." Your tone should be confident but respectful. Smile gently while speaking. You're not begging for the job, you're showing what you can offer. Let's move on to another tricky question. What is your biggest failure? This one is meant to test your honesty and self-reflection. Don't say I've never failed. That sounds unrealistic. Instead, share a small, genuine example and focus on what you learned. For example, in one of my early projects, I underestimated how much time it would take to complete certain tasks. As a result, we missed the original deadline. I took full responsibility, analyzed what went wrong, and since then I've learned to plan more carefully and communicate timelines more clearly. That experience made me a much better project manager. You're not being judged for making mistakes, you're being evaluated on how you handle them. Now, another question that often comes up: what are your salary expectations? This can feel uncomfortable, especially if you're not sure how to answer. The best way is to stay flexible and professional. I'm open to discussing a fair and competitive salary that matches the responsibilities of the role and the industry standard. I'm confident we can find an agreement that works for both of us. This kind of answer shows maturity and flexibility. It tells the interviewer that you're reasonable and focused on the job, not just the money. Let's practice another one. What's your biggest weakness? Even though we talked about weaknesses before, when it's asked directly in a tough interview tone, you need to stay composed. Use the same method as before. Pick a small weakness and show how you're improving it. I used to find it difficult to delegate tasks because I wanted everything to be perfect, but I've learned that trusting my team and giving clear guidance helps us achieve better results. Your voice should remain steady, calm, and confident. Now let's discuss the question: why do you want to work here? This question checks if you've done your research. Don't give a vague answer like, because your company is great. Be specific. I'm impressed by your company's commitment to innovation and teamwork. I admire how you support employee growth and community impact. I believe my background in marketing and my passion for creativity align perfectly with your company's values. A personalized answer like this shows that you care, that you've prepared, and that you're serious about joining the team. Let's look at one more question that can catch people off guard. How do you handle conflict at work? Here, interviewers want to see emotional intelligence. Avoid saying I never have conflicts. Instead, show maturity. When disagreements happen, I focus on understanding the other person's point of view and finding a solution that works for everyone. I believe communication and respect are key. For example, when my colleague and I disagreed on a project timeline, I suggested a meeting to review our priorities. We adjusted the plan and finished the project successfully. That kind of answer demonstrates that you can stay calm, think logically, and solve problems exactly what employers want. Let's look at a few useful phrases you can use in difficult interview moments. I understand your concern. That's a great question. I appreciate you asking that. In my experience, I've learned that. I believe that every challenge is an opportunity to grow. Using these phrases helps you sound composed and thoughtful. Now, let's talk about body language and tone. When you're asked a difficult question, pause for a second before answering. Take a short breath. This shows control. Speak a little slower and lower your pitch slightly to sound calm and confident. Avoid filler words like or you know. They make you sound uncertain. If you're doing an online interview, keep your posture open, maintain eye contact with the camera, and smile occasionally to show confidence. Here's a full example combining several of the strategies we've discussed. Interviewer: why did you leave your previous company? Candidate: I had a great experience there and learned a lot from my team. However, after 3 years, I realized I was ready for new challenges and wanted to grow in a role that allows me to develop more leadership skills. That's why I'm excited about this opportunity. Interviewer: why should we hire you? Candidate: because I bring both experience and passion for this work. I've led projects that improve team efficiency, I'm adaptable to change, and I truly care about delivering high-quality results. I believe I can bring real value to your team. Interviewer: how do you handle pressure? Candidate: when things get stressful, I focus on prioritizing and staying organized. I break large tasks into smaller steps and stay calm by focusing on solutions instead of problems. I've learned that staying positive helps the whole team perform better. Each answer is short, composed, and professional. To summarize, when facing difficult questions, remember 3 golden rules. Stay calm, take a breath before you answer. Stay positive, focus on growth, not negativity. Stay professional. Keep your answers polite, concise, and relevant. You don't need to have a perfect answer for every question. What matters most is your attitude, how you carry yourself, and how you respond with grace and confidence. With practice, even the toughest interview questions will become opportunities to show your professionalism, intelligence, and calm under pressure. Now, let's move forward to another important part of mastering your job interview: how to ask smart questions at the end of the interview that make you stand out as a thoughtful and engaged candidate. Cam un ban dun hack. Jury de la fien ban ***. Chapter 6 ***. Daduk chin lai huan tuan ***. Font chu bin thuong ***. Hong, indum ***. Hong, viet ninging ***. Va van jun nguyen do dai lien mac, tu nyan, ra rang, chuan de dung cho 11 labs doc jiang. When you've handled the tough questions with confidence, the interviewer might move to a question that seems simple but actually reveals a lot about you. What do you know about our company? This question is not just about facts, it's about preparation, interest, and alignment. Interviewers ask this to see if you've done your homework and whether you genuinely want to work for them, not just any company. The best candidates sound informed, enthusiastic, and connected to the company's goals and values. When you answer this question well, you show respect for the interviewer's time and demonstrate that you're serious about the opportunity. Let's break it down step by step. First, you need to research the company before the interview. Learn about what they do, their products or services, their mission, recent news, and what makes them stand out in their industry. You can find this information on the company's website, LinkedIn page, or even in recent news articles. Once you understand the company, you can organize your answer into 3 parts. 1. A short summary of what you know about the company. 2. What you admire or find interesting about them. 3. How that connects to your goals or skills. Let's start with a basic structure. I've read that your company focuses on providing innovative technology solutions for businesses. What really impressed me is your commitment to sustainability and digital transformation. I believe my background in data analysis and project management fits well with your company's vision for creating smarter, more efficient systems. This answer shows that you've researched, you appreciate their mission, and you see yourself as part of their future. Here's another example for a different type of company. I learned that your company has been one of the leaders in the education industry for over a decade. I admire how you combine modern technology with real learning results. As an educator myself, I share that same passion for helping people grow, so I'd love to contribute to that mission. Notice how you're not just repeating information, you're connecting it to your values. Now, let's look at useful phrases to help you sound natural and professional when describing what you know. I've read that your company focuses on. I understand that your organization is known for. I really admire how your team has. I was impressed by the way your company handles. I've seen that your recent project or campaign achieved. What stood out to me is your focus on. These phrases make your answer conversational, but still polished. Let's go through a few examples by industry. If you're applying for a marketing job, I've followed your company's marketing campaigns for a while and noticed how creative and consistent your branding is. I especially liked your recent social media campaign about customer stories. It shows how much you value your clients' voices. I'd love to bring my own experience in content creation and digital marketing to support that approach. If you're applying for a job in healthcare, I know that your hospital is recognized for its patient-centered care and focus on innovation. I really admire the way you've integrated new medical technologies to improve diagnosis and treatment. I believe my background in healthcare administration and attention to detail would help support that standard of excellence. If you're applying for a role in technology, I read that your company has recently expanded into artificial intelligence solutions for business automation. I find that very exciting because I've worked on similar projects involving AI-driven tools, and I'd love to be part of a team that's shaping the future of technology. If you're applying for a creative or design role, I've seen how your company's design philosophy focuses on user experience and simplicity. That really connects with me because I believe great design should make life easier and more enjoyable. I'd love to contribute my creative skills to help continue that tradition. Every example shares a few key elements: research, admiration, and alignment. Now, let's talk about how to sound more natural when saying these things. Don't try to memorize every sentence word for word. Instead, practice speaking with genuine interest. Imagine you're explaining to a friend why you think this company is special. You can also use transition phrases to make your answer flow better. From what I've learned, I also noticed that what I find most interesting is, another thing that really stood out to me is, I believe that fits perfectly with my skills in. These transitions make your speech smoother and more natural. Let's listen to an example of a complete, fluent answer. I've read that your company is one of the top leaders in sustainable fashion. 7. I was really inspired by your recent initiative to reduce waste and use recycled materials. That kind of commitment to the environment is something I deeply respect. Since I have experience in supply chain management and product sourcing, I believe I can contribute to your sustainability goals while maintaining high quality and efficiency. This answer works because it's clear, concise, and full of positive energy. It shows you care about the company's mission and that your skills can help them succeed. Let's look at one more example in a business or finance setting. I understand that your company has a strong reputation for innovation and integrity in financial consulting. I've read about your recent expansion into digital banking solutions, which I find fascinating. I'm passionate about combining finance and technology, and I believe my background in financial analysis and data management aligns perfectly with your company's direction. Now, what if you're asked a follow-up question, like, why do you want to work for us? The answer should feel like a natural continuation of what you've just said. I want to work here because your values and goals match mine. I'm excited about the chance to work with a team that's focused on innovation and positive impact. I believe my experience and enthusiasm would make me a strong contributor to your ongoing success. This builds on your earlier answer and shows sincerity. Here's a helpful list of vocabulary you can use when describing company values or culture: innovation, teamwork, creativity, leadership, sustainability, growth, inclusivity, collaboration, excellence, integrity, passion, community, impact, progress. For example, I admire your company's focus on teamwork and innovation. I appreciate your commitment to diversity and inclusivity. I value your dedication to quality and long-term growth. These words help your answer sound genuine and professional. Let's look at how to make your tone convincing. When speaking, use a warm, positive tone. Smile slightly. Emphasize key words naturally, not too fast, not too slow. Your voice should sound as if you truly mean what you say. It's also important not to sound too generic. Avoid saying something vague like, "Your company is great, and I'd love to work here." That could apply to any company. Instead, use details show that you've invested time in learning about them. For example, instead of saying, "I like your company's products," you can say, "I've used your company's products myself, and I really appreciate their quality and design. That personal experience makes me excited about the possibility of contributing to the brand." Let's practice another short version. I've learned that your company values teamwork, innovation, and customer satisfaction. Those are values I also believe in. I think my skills in project coordination and communication would allow me to contribute effectively to your mission. That's short, clear, and confident. The secret to answering, "What do you know about our company?" is preparation and connection. Preparation shows effort. Connection shows passion. Together, they make you stand out as a candidate who doesn't just want a job, but truly wants this job. Now, take a few minutes to research a company you're interested in. Write 3 sentences, one about what the company does, one about what you admire, and one about how you fit. Practice saying them out loud until it feels natural and fluent. When you can answer this question smoothly, you'll impress interviewers not only with your English, but with your genuine professionalism and curiosity. Next, we'll move on to another key interview skill: how to ask your own thoughtful questions at the end of the interview, leaving a lasting and positive impression. After you've shown that you understand the company well and explained why you're a good fit, the interview will usually move toward its final stage. The interviewer might smile and say, "Do you have any questions for us?" Many candidates make the mistake of saying, "No, I think you've covered everything." That's a missed opportunity. This part of the interview is your chance to leave a strong final impression, one that shows curiosity, confidence, and genuine interest. Good candidates answer questions well. Great candidates ask thoughtful questions. When you ask the right questions, you show that you care about the company, the role, and your future there. It also turns the interview into a two-way conversation rather than an interrogation. Let's explore how to do this effectively. First, let's talk about your tone. When asking questions, your voice should sound friendly, confident, and engaged. Avoid sounding like you're reading a list. Think of it as having a natural conversation. Use an upward tone at the end of your sentence to show curiosity. Here's an example of how to start. "Thank you for explaining the role in such detail. I do have a few questions if you don't mind." That sounds polite and professional. Now, let's look at some useful types of questions you can ask. depending on what you want to learn. 1. Questions about the team and work environment. These questions show that you're interested in how you'll fit in and contribute. Could you tell me more about the team I'd be working with? What does a typical day look like for someone in this position? How is the team structured, and who would I be reporting to? What qualities do successful team members here usually have? These questions show that you're thinking ahead about collaboration, communication, and teamwork. 2. Questions about company culture and values. These reveal that you care about the long-term fit, not just getting hired. How would you describe the company culture? What are some of the company's core values, and how do they show up in day-to-day work? I've read that your company focuses on innovation. Could you share an example of how that happens within teams? When you ask about culture, you show maturity and a desire to grow in a healthy, supportive environment. 3. Questions about expectations and success. These show that you are goal-oriented and want to contribute effectively. What are the most important goals for this position in the first 3 months? How do you measure success for this role? What would make someone truly stand out in this position? These kinds of questions make you sound motivated and committed to performing well. 4. Questions about growth and development. Employers love candidates who want to learn and improve. What opportunities are there for professional development or training? Does the company support employees in gaining new skills or certifications? How do people usually grow or advance from this position? These questions show long-term thinking and ambition in a positive way. 5. Questions about the next steps. These help you understand the process and show that you're serious about moving forward. What are the next steps in the hiring process? When do you expect to make a decision about this position? Will there be another round of interviews or any assessments? These questions sound practical and professional. Let's put this into context with an example. After the interviewer finishes their last question, you could say, "Thank you so much for sharing more about the company and the role. I do have a few questions, if that's okay. Could you tell me more about the team I'd be working with? I'm curious about how different departments collaborate here." The interviewer might respond, and you can follow up naturally. "That sounds great. I really enjoy working in collaborative environments. What kind of projects does the team usually focus on?" That's how you turn a simple question into a short, engaging dialogue. Another example. "I read that your company is expanding internationally. That's exciting. Could you tell me how this role might contribute to that growth?" This type of question shows that you've done research and are thinking strategically. Let's go through some sample dialogues to practice natural rhythm and intonation. Interviewer: "So, do you have any questions for us?" Candidate: "Yes, thank you. I'd love to know more about the team dynamics. How big is the team, and how do you usually collaborate on projects?" Interviewer: "We have a team of 8, and we work closely with the marketing department." Candidate: "That sounds like a great setup. Collaboration is something I value a lot. How does the company encourage communication across departments?" Notice the tone: curious, warm, and conversational. Here's another example for a candidate in education. Interviewer: "Any questions for us?" Candidate: "Yes, I'd love to hear more about your teaching philosophy. How does your school support teachers in using creative or modern teaching methods?" Or for a candidate in tech. "I've read that your company values innovation. Could you share how the development team approaches new ideas or projects?" These kinds of questions make you sound genuinely interested, not rehearsed. Now, let's look at questions you should avoid asking. especially at this stage. Avoid questions that are too personal, like "Do you have children?" or "How old is your team leader?" Avoid questions about salary or vacation time too early, unless the interviewer brings it up first. And avoid asking questions you could easily find the answer to online, like "What does your company do?" or "Where is your office located?" Those make you look unprepared. Instead, focus on deeper, more meaningful questions that show curiosity, thought, and professionalism. Here are a few more advanced, natural-sounding questions for high-level candidates. How does this position contribute to the company's long-term goals? What do you think are the biggest challenges for someone starting in this role? How do managers here give feedback to their teams? What's one thing you're most proud of about working here? Each of these questions helps build a human connection. Interviewers often remember candidates who make them think or feel engaged. Now, let's talk about how to practice your tone and delivery. When asking a question, use a friendly rising tone at the end to show interest. For example, "Could you tell me more about the team I'd be working with?" Your voice rises slightly on the word "with." Then pause and listen carefully. Show that you value the interviewer's answer, nod, smile, or respond with short acknowledgments like, "That's interesting," or "I see." This shows good listening skills, another quality employers appreciate. You can also prepare a few flexible questions that work for almost any interview. For example, "What's the most rewarding part of working at this company?" "How would you describe the ideal candidate for this role?" "What does success look like for someone in this position after 1 year?" You can use these at the end if you're unsure which specific question fits best. Here's how you can close this part of the conversation smoothly. "Thank you for taking the time to answer my questions. I really appreciate your insights. It's helped me understand even better how this company works and what's expected in the role." That final line leaves a professional, respectful impression. Let's summarize what makes this part so powerful. When you ask thoughtful questions, you show preparation that you care enough to learn about the company. You show confidence that you're not afraid to engage in a real conversation. You show curiosity that you want to grow and understand how you can contribute. So, when the interviewer asks, "Do you have any questions for us?" don't see it as the end of the interview. See it as your final opportunity to shine, to connect, and to show that you're the kind of candidate who thinks, listens, and cares. Now, let's move naturally to the final part of your interview training: how to end your interview gracefully and leave a lasting, positive impression that makes the interviewer remember you long after you've left the room. After you've asked thoughtful questions and shown genuine curiosity about the company, the interview will begin to wrap up. This is your final chance to leave a powerful impression, the kind of impression that stays in the interviewer's mind after you walk out of the room. Ending an interview confidently is just as important as how you started it. Many candidates forget this moment, but professionals use it wisely. The way you end your interview shows your attitude, communication skills, and professionalism. It's not about saying something perfect, it's about sounding confident, grateful, and engaged. Let's start with the basics. When the interviewer says something like, "That's all the questions I have for now," or "Thank you for coming in today," that's your signal that the conversation is coming to an end. You should respond warmly and positively. For example, "Thank you so much for your time today. I really enjoyed learning more about the position and your company," or "I appreciate the opportunity to meet with you and discuss how I can contribute to your team." These sentences are polite, clear, and natural. Now let's add a professional closing statement that shows enthusiasm for the role. I'm very excited about the possibility of joining your team and contributing to your upcoming projects. Thank you again for considering my application. Or you can say, I really appreciate this opportunity. It sounds like a great place to grow and make an impact. I look forward to hearing from you. Notice how these sentences express confidence but remain humble and respectful. Let's practice another version that sounds friendly and warm. Thank you for taking the time to meet with me today. I've learned a lot about your company and the role, and it's made me even more interested in joining your team. You can also ask one final professional question before leaving to show continued interest. For the next step, should I expect to hear back by email or phone? This sounds confident and practical, not pushy. Now, let's talk about body language. When you're ending the interview, your nonverbal communication matters just as much as your words. Always maintain good posture, smile sincerely, and make eye contact when you thank the interviewer. If it's an in-person interview, shake hands firmly but not too tightly. If it's online, keep your camera at eye level, smile naturally, and nod slightly when saying goodbye. Avoid rushing or appearing nervous to leave. Take a small pause before standing up or logging off, just enough to show calmness and control. Here's how that might sound in a natural flow. Interviewer? Well, that's everything I needed to ask today. Candidate, thank you very much for your time. It was great speaking with you. I'm really inspired by the projects your team is working on, and I'd love to be part of that effort. Interviewer, we'll be in touch soon. Candidate, thank you. I look forward to hearing from you. Have a wonderful day. That's short, polite, and professional, exactly how you want to end. Let's go over some key vocabulary and expressions you can use when closing an interview to express gratitude. Thank you for your time today. I really appreciate the opportunity to meet with you. It's been great learning more about your company. Thank you for considering my application. To express enthusiasm, I'm very interested in this role. I'm excited about the chance to contribute to your team. I believe this position fits my skills and goals perfectly. I'd love the opportunity to work with you, to express professionalism and confidence. I look forward to hearing from you. Please let me know if you need any additional information. I'm happy to provide references or samples of my work if needed. Thank you again, and I hope to speak with you soon. You can combine them naturally to create your own version. Thank you for your time today. I'm very excited about this opportunity and believe my skills would be a great match for the team. Please don't hesitate to reach out if you need any more information. I look forward to hearing from you. That's a perfect professional closing. Now let's talk about voice and tone. When you deliver your final lines, your voice should sound calm, warm, and steady. Avoid rushing through your words. This moment should feel confident and relaxed. Smile as you speak, even in a phone or video interview. People can hear a smile in your voice. End with a tone that rises slightly on the last phrase, which signals optimism and energy. For example, I look forward to hearing from you. That small rise at the end makes it sound hopeful and engaging. Let's also talk about timing and presence. Some candidates, once the interview is over, quickly grab their things or log off without saying much. That's a mistake. Take 2 or 3 seconds to end with composure. Make sure your last words are clear, polite, and positive. For example, it was a pleasure speaking with you. Have a great afternoon, or thank you again for your time. I really appreciate the opportunity. Enjoy the rest of your day. Now, If you want to take your professionalism to the next level, you can also send a short thank you message after the interview. It's not always required, but it's a great way to stand out. You can write something like this. Subject: Thank you for the interview. Dear interviewer's name. Thank you for taking the time to speak with me today about the job title position. I really enjoyed learning more about your company and the exciting work your team is doing. I'm very interested in the opportunity and believe my skills align well with your goals. I look forward to hearing from you soon. Best regards, your name. This short message reinforces your interest and helps the interviewer remember you positively. Now, let's go through a quick real-time scenario to help you imagine the full flow. You finish answering the final question. The interviewer nods and says, "That's all the questions I have." You smile and respond naturally. "Thank you for the opportunity to meet today. I really appreciate learning more about the role and how your company supports growth. It sounds like a great place to build meaningful work. I look forward to hearing from you soon." Then you stand up calmly, shake hands, thank them once more, and leave with a confident smile. That's the kind of ending that interviewers remember. Even if you feel nervous or unsure about how well you performed, never show doubt at the end. Always finish with confidence. Your final moments can change the overall impression the interviewer has of you. If you're doing an online interview, maintain the same confidence. Before leaving the call, make sure you're smiling and say clearly, "Thank you again for your time today. I really appreciate it. Have a great rest of your day." Then wait for their reply before you end the meeting. Let's go over some final tips for a strong closing impression. 1. Stay positive even if you think something didn't go perfectly. Employers remember your last moments more than your first mistakes. 2. Show genuine appreciation. Thank the interviewer for their time and insight. 3. Reaffirm your interest. Let them know you're excited about the opportunity. 4. Keep it short. Don't repeat your answers. Focus on gratitude and confidence. 5. Smile. It's the simplest but most powerful thing you can do. Your final words should make the interviewer think, "This person would be great to work with." Here's one last example of a strong, natural closing line. Thank you very much for today's conversation. It was a pleasure learning more about the position and the team. I'm truly interested in this opportunity and hope to contribute to your company's success. I look forward to hearing from you soon. That's how you end an interview like a professional, calm, confident, and memorable. And with that, you've now learned how to handle every part of a job interview, from introducing yourself and describing your experience to managing tough questions and leaving a lasting final impression. When you practice these techniques, you'll not only improve your English fluency, but also build the confidence to shine in any real interview setting. And that brings us to the end of today's English lesson. You've now learned how to master every part of a job interview, from the very first greeting to the final goodbye. Remember, confidence comes from preparation, and every time you practice, you get one step closer to sounding natural and professional in English. If you found this lesson helpful, make sure to subscribe to SonicSage English, where learning English is simple, clear, and enjoyable. I'm Julia, your English coach and guide, and I want to thank you for spending your time learning with me today. Keep practicing, keep believing in yourself, and remember your English voice deserves to be heard. I'll see you in the next lesson here on SonicSage English.